Okay, pretty close to our scheduled time. So that's fantastic. So, hey there, Amy. How are you this evening?
I am doing great. How about you?
Good, good. So, I bet if you guys are on, that you guys have actually seen a lot of stuff going on. A lot of promoting this here because we do have it's never overhyped. We always have if we're gonna bring something on, it's gonna be something pretty amazing, and that is what it is. So, it is not just going to be me and Amy tonight, and we're actually not just going to have one guest either. So this could be a little bit crazy, but that's the fun of it, right? Yes. We can hear each other. We're kind of pretty close to when we should be starting, and so if you guys are hopping on, thanks for joining us. We are the Merch Girl Boss Edition group, and so we like to kind of have fun and bring you guys some good quality content, and we do that by bringing you the best guests. And I think tonight might be top it all off. What do you think? I bet maybe some of the guests did. Maybe some of the guests did. That would have been fun. If you guys are listening in the lobby. So this is how it works. Okay, so with the program, we can only have a total of 4 people on at a time. That means we can only have me, Amy, and 2 guests, but we actually have more than that for you guys tonight. So this shall be fun. I will do my best to keep up with it. And like I said, I know that they're going to be bringing you guys some awesome content. So right now, we have 4 people in the lobby. One person does have to bounce out and leave a little bit early. So I'm going to pop him in here for just a minute. Actually, we're going to do 2 just because this can just be fun. So we are going to have Mr. Young with us here.
Hello, ladies.
Hey, hey.
Hi, Amy. Hi, Amanda. It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Yeah, thanks for hopping on. I know that you're hungry and you're about to go eat some dinner, but you did carve out a little time for us. So
Yeah, I'm actually at a conference for my day job, so I'm not even home at the moment. I'm in the home. I'm in my hotel room.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, so I did that last week and it didn't work out very well. I wasn't able to speak for most of the time, but I'm glad you got it together better than I did while you're in your hotel room. So what city are you in right now?
Monterey, California.
Oh, very nice.
This is actually my hometown. I actually grew up here.
Oh.
So this is home away from home for me.
Cool. Very cool. All right. So we are actually, let me see. Throw up who wants to pop in here? Or am I just gonna pick? I'm looking at the lobby right now because I don't know, we have such amazing guests. All right. It's wild. All right. Well, this person just smiled kind of big, so he's getting thrown on there. Yep, there you go. Mr. RJ Martinez.
Oh, man, of all people, you're going to have to pick RJ. Oh, man. What's going on, RJ?
I'm chilling.
Now,
Chilling.
RJ's my boy, man. He's one of my favorites.
I know Young called me I had 10 missed calls from Young the other day, right before I went to bed.
What are you talking about, man?
Let me show you. Let me show you real fast.
Oh, God. But,
screenshots are coming.
Nah.
All right, well, here's one of the things I want to say about the people that are coming on here is that they are at basically the top of the merch game. They deliver amazing content to everybody, whether that be with tools, blogs, videos, just sharing stuff, just trying to help out the community. And so, coming on here, there's going to be a few things that we kind of want to be, we're going to have fun for sure, but we want to get you guys a good amount of info as well. And I just love how each one of these people do their business dramatically different. It's just amazing. And so over the past a little over a year, I've gotten to know each one of these guys pretty good, and all of them are guys tonight, friends. So, but you know what, they bring something amazing to the table. So we have RJ and Young here, and what I would like to ask, and either one of you guys can, step in who wants to answer first, because both of you guys are going to answer this question. So is this it's not crazy yet. So is this your main hustle or your side hustle?
RJ, you want to go first?
You're the oldest, so you go first.
I'll go first. This is my side hustle. Like I mentioned, I do have a day job, but I've been working diligently to try and make it my main hustle. I've made that pretty clear to a lot of you guys and a lot of people watching. So it's been hard, but I still enjoy it. You know, every day I enjoy designing and uploading. So yeah.
Awesome. And what's your main hustle?
My main hustle. So I actually work at Stanford University, and yeah, so we're out here for a conference, and been here since. Well, I've been here since Sunday, and I'm ready to go home. I threw out my back the other night, and so I'm in a lot of pain right now.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Well, thank you for hopping on, and that's one thing that's good about merch is that it doesn't take. Well, it shouldn't take you throwing out your back. I'm not sure how you did that. RJ, do you know how he did that? Do you have a guess?
You know what?
I'm not gonna answer that.
It's called getting old. Okay, don't get old.
Oh, got it. Okay, so you're not gonna tell us how you did that?
Oh, you know what? I actually have a history of chronic back pain, and I can give you the whole story, but you know that's for another show.
That sucks. All right. Well, I hope it gets better. I hope you feel better soon. Because you are coming out. Because obviously, all of you guys actually is one of the big reasons you're coming out to Seattle. So you better be better for that.
I'm hoping. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Yeah, I'll be there though, regardless. Whether I'm on the stretcher or not, I'll be there. I'll have RJ carry me. He's a big boy.
There you go.
Sure.
All right. So RJ, so is this your main hustle or your side hustle?
Well, I have like it was like at one point it was like the main hustle, but now I have like a lot of side hustles that are the main hustle now. Like they're all together. They're all the main hustle now. So
yeah, that's kind of intertwined.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Everything.
What else are you working on?
I work at Etsy. I do research for the group. Redbubble. There's Spreadshirt, merch by Amazon, of course, and it's pretty much a lot of things. Affiliate marketing. There's a lot that I do.
So, what are you most excited about at this moment that you're learning about or that you're looking to go after?
Right now, honestly, I think Etsy right now is like kind of made like a big turnaround for me, and I'm surprised. I just been doing a lot of testing, and it seems like the most work that I'm putting into is Etsy right now, and I'm getting like the best results. So kind of a little disappointed with merch by Amazon. I put a lot of work into it, and I'm not getting as much results as I am Etsy. So I feel like I'm putting the results into Etsy, and it's actually giving me results back. So I'm putting like 2 times the work in on merch, and it's not giving me the results back. So I'm just like not trying to give up, but because I hate giving up, it pisses me off. But I'm going still.
Makes sense. No, I mean, and I know that you said you've had a lot of different things that you've been working on, but I mean, if you're getting results in one, and I mean, I know each platform has totally different feels and different personalities. So how did you go from, I know merch being like your main thing to then, you know, working on Etsy? What do you think is different about it, or what do you do differently on Etsy than you do on merch?
Well, I think on Etsy it's kind of more about building a brand, so I'm having fun with it. Like the little kids in my family, I'm actually buying shirts for them, sending them shirts, and have them take pictures with it to put on my Instagram. I have girls that I know that I haven't got no guys yet. I'll send Young a crop top pretty soon.
Send me a crop top. I'll rock it.
Okay.
I told you I'll rock it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I'm having fun doing that, and I actually enjoy it. So I'm using Instagram to kind of leverage that and kind of just build a brand up. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And I'm enjoying it. Having fun with it.
Awesome. Young, do you do any Etsy or any other side hustles?
Yeah, you know, I'm on other platforms, kind of like RJ. But I guess my second best platform as far as print on demand is Etsy. And actually, me and RJ just got into this conversation the other night because I actually found RJ's store. But yeah, so Etsy's been really good, and I've been focusing on Etsy a lot because you know, I've made it pretty clear that I've been pretty frustrated with merch by Amazon lately. Don't get me wrong, I love the platform, but with all the changes over the past year, I've been pretty frustrated. So been focusing on Etsy, and I've been seeing some pretty significant results. So I need to focus on that more.
Very interesting that last week we had some big time Etsy stuff going on, and now that's kind of the direction that we're hearing over here. So, Amy, before I pop these guys off for a minute, do you have any add on there? Any questions at the moment?
Amy, what are you drinking? Ah, hey, don't give RJ rum. He'll pass out.
I love it. She's probably like, I need this to deal with all of you guys. All right, guys, what I'm gonna do is now, Young, how long do we have you for? What do you got?
5-10 more minutes.
5-10 more minutes. All right, let's see. I'm gonna pop you up, and hopefully you're still on here because I do want to get to. I didn't say who else we got on here, but I do want to throw on 2 new guests here. Let's see. Pop these guys in here. We have Mr. Ken Reel, the Merch Fairy himself. He's back on with us again, and Mr. Neil Lassen. So welcome, guys. How are you doing tonight?
Good. How you doing?
Good,
Why do I got to be on with Neil?
Oh, sorry.
Ken, you know exactly why.
It's happened that way. God, we're gonna have the most fun this way. So, all right, guys. So I know that, like I said, each of you guys, it's fun because each of you guys like know each other as well, and you guys do your businesses dramatically different and have different things going on. But would you guys consider Merch by Amazon your main hustle or your side hustle?
Go ahead, Ken.
Go ahead, Neil.
I would say it's probably all things merch are currently my main focus. That being said, I do a lot of other stuff on the internet.
Yeah. And because you've been in like, what do we want to say? What internet marketing? What would you consider? What have you been your history?
Yeah, probably. I didn't want to get a job, so after college, so I would say internet marketing. Pretty much, I dabbled in a little bit of everything. So I found out. I kind of landed in affiliate marketing. You know, I ran a lot of Facebook ads. I wasted a lot of money until I found out something that worked. You know, and from there it was affiliate marketing, and I tried my hands at products and doing pop under ads. If you guys know what those are, they pop. Those are kind of spammy. You're on a website and all of a sudden like an ad pops up underneath, and they're like, "What is that?" And I click on it.
Drives me crazy.
But they work. You can get like literally millions and millions of visitors for very, very cheap. But so I tried out that.
Like the ones where like I'm reading an article and I like think I'm gonna get to like the next page of the article, but I click on it and it takes me somewhere else. Is that what you're talking about?
No. So pop under ads. Let's say you have like a web screen, screen, and you're reading an article. All of a sudden, you see a little blinking like Chrome icon down there because it opened up another Chrome thing. And you're like, oh, what the hell is that? So you click on it, and it's like a new article that's related to the one that you were just reading.
Gotcha.
So that type of stuff. Yeah, did FBA, hated FBA. Did what's funny is I did a little bit of app stuff, which is kind of why someone sent me a Merch by Amazon article because it was for app developers. And
cool. Well,
a little bit of everything.
All right, Mr. Merch Fairy, what about you?
Pretty much my main hustle. I've got my sign business on the side, which I'm trying to work over and probably sell off because I don't want to spend time out in the heat of Vegas. I got my head in a lot of things right now. Probably spending a bunch of time on things that aren't making me much money, but hopefully are helping out the community. But I just do what I have fun with.
Yeah. No, I think so everybody, we did just, Young is out of here, but that's fine. We have plenty of people to pop in because I just see him leaving, but he had to go.
And go to the doctor for his back pain.
Probably, poor guy. That sucks. So, all right, we're actually going to, let's see, just kind of transition and then rotate through different ones on here. So I want to find out from you guys, like, to date, I guess, what would you think is your biggest success or your most exciting moment with merch, if you can remember?
Selling that first t-shirt, because it validated the entire concept, and it was something that I designed. And if you guys know, I make some really bad stuff. So someone out there is wearing that, and that kind of like lit the fire under me. I'm like, this works.
And how did you design it? What did you use to design it?
So I have Photoshop. I've always had Photoshop, but all I can really do is drag things in there, like select a font and type something. That's literally it. Like anything else, I have to go to a YouTube video and how do I make a mask? How do I do this? How do I do that? And,
Come on, Neil, a link or it didn't happen.
oh, like, I don't think you want to see that.
Dirt sold us
Yeah,
dirt.
we should see that first. You know what? You do need to do it. Obviously, if you sold it, it's still live. Like, we should probably see. I mean, is it a shirt that does well, or is it just something that?
I do not want to show that shirt.
I bet you might not be able to sell. Maybe you cannot sell that shirt anymore. Is that right? Because I remember you were in before there was some.
Yeah. I had to take down quite a few shirts that were related to this specific niche.
He's in Colorado. Use your imagination.
No,
right?
it was merch updating their cursing policy. I lost a lot of those. So, it happens though. You got to roll with punches.
So you're not wearing it to the Seattle conference, is what you're
I'm
saying?
not. I'm gonna wear the one I linked in our little chat. I'm wearing that one, and I got to find another one. I don't know what else I'm gonna wear.
Awesome. All right, Ken. What about you?
In regards to what? My best moment with merch?
Like one of either your biggest.
I don't know.
Or like a spark, or yeah.
I don't know. Selling $40,000 worth of solar clip shirts.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah, that would be pretty fun. I would imagine that that cha-ching sound was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it was a wild and wonderful thing. There's been a lot of things in merch that have been fun. I've had a couple of experiences that have been a little monumental. Going and touring Dallas and meeting some of the merch staff and things like that. There's a whole list of things that have been really standoutish when it comes to merch. I mean, it goes all the way back to the beginning. I almost walked away from merch. If somebody at merch wouldn't have told me to check my pixel size for the last time after I told them off and how bad the program was, I wouldn't be sitting here. So that's a pretty monumental step.
The funny thing is today you would have gotten a link from merch. Like, please read the TOS.
Yeah, I know. Read the TOS. What is your problem? But I actually had somebody write me back from the staff and say, hey, Mr. Real, please take a look. Are you sure you're doing the right size? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. I'm in this industry. You guys are idiots. So I'd kind of like to find out who that was. But
all right. Well, we have one other guest that is on here. So I am going to pop him on here real quick. Let's see. We have the merch elephant, Mr. Matt Sharon. How are you?
I am excellent. How are you guys?
Good, good. Well, thank you for hopping on with us.
I was just finishing up dinner. That's what took me a couple minutes to get on.
No problem. I know we're all in different time zones here. So in the beginning, what I was going to ask, or what we'd ask is, so is this your is merch your main hustle or side hustle?
Side hustle, yeah.
Okay, so what's your main hustle?
I own a pool service business that we do pool service maintenance and repairs, all that stuff.
Okay. And probably everybody does know, and they should know, but you work the business with your lovely bride, Erin, right?
Yep, I do. Yeah, she's the talent. I just kind of do the grunt work.
Yeah. So, and like I said, the common denominator between all of our guests tonight is they are going to be speaking at the Seattle conference, which is a huge, huge deal. So really excited to be able to, hear a little bit more in depth from you guys there and on your specialty. But let's see, Matt, what would you say is your biggest strength in merch?
Problem solving. Like, I'm really good at figuring out how to figure out what's fucked up and then try and react. And I've tried trying.
Trying. Well, that's good for sure. All right. How about you, Neil? What do you think is your biggest strength with merch?
Not complaining and testing things. It drives me nuts to see all the people in the groups just complaining about stuff they haven't even tried, or they're like, "Oh, I don't think that'll work." Well, have you tested it? Like, just in the internet marketing game, no matter if you're selling T-shirts or you're running ads or you're doing whatever, you have to be constantly testing stuff. You're going to be left behind.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I had actually in college I had taken one of my classes was marketing, and I hated it because that's what it was all about. It was like testing and figuring out, and you could get a result, and then you think it's because of one thing, but it's really because of something else. So, but it's funny because now like there's some stuff that, you know, we're doing and working through, and I'm kind of starting to enjoy it a little bit. So,
when you get it right, it leads to more money, and that's the fun part.
Yeah, for sure. But all right, let's see. And then, so Matt, what would you say is something that you either is very frustrating for you with merch, or something that you really are like working to improve on?
Not having access to AMS yet. That's frustrating to me right now. I've got 2 applications in plus emails into AMS, but you know, AMS is kind of this black box because the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing ever. And like I have lots of experience with that. So I figure sometime next year I'll probably get access to be able to run ads. That'd be cool.
All right. Wow. Hey, I have to interject real quick there. With AMS, so I wrote a big article on it, and a lot of people were like, hey, I don't have sponsored products in my AMS. I only have the other 2. Well, this person contacted Amazon because I think it was the old accounts. If you used the workaround before, you like didn't have sponsored products in there for some reason.
Yeah, so I don't have sponsored products.
Yeah, they emailed Amazon within 24 hours. They had enabled sponsored products on their AMS account.
You're going to make Matt's head explode right now.
Yeah, I've got multiple emails in with them. So it's literally luck of the draw, especially when it comes to that side of the business. Like you need to get a hold of somebody that actually knows what the hell they're doing. And that's not always the easiest thing. I used to actually have an email for somebody there that was a little bit higher up, but it hasn't worked. So it's kind of spray and pray right now. Just keep sending in emails.
Well, if anyone from merch is listening at all, let's get their account some AMS, because he does a great job of not only, I mean, the whole thing is like, you did a great job. You did a talk at Marcella on it, and it was awesome. I mean, to me, like, that's not something that I really focus on with, I mean, people know that I do the business with my husband, and he focuses on that. He also focuses on that for our private label business, but I loved every bit of how you explained it, and you know, your talk on it and your strategies and everything. So your account needs that for sure.
It'd be fun. Yeah. Like it's hard to run the other products without the sponsored product ads, like headline ads and product display ads. Like there's a lot of other information that can save you money by running it properly. So it is what it is. Whatever. At this point, I'm used to merch like nothing running smoothly. I think anybody that's been in it for a little while is used to that. So it's just roll with the punches, do what you can do.
Totally. All right, I am going to bring on the other 2 here. So these guys on here.
Ding, ding.
Without Ken, you are no longer hanging out with Neil for the moment, so this is better.
Makes me happy.
So,
you give me RJ.
I can.
Hey, how you doing?
What's up, brother? What's going on?
All right, let's have a little bit of fun here. So, Ken, if you could ask RJ one thing, what question would you want to ask him?
Shit. Don't you get below the belt.
Why does he copy my stuff?
Uh-oh.
RJ. No, what would I ask RJ? Gee. How many hours a day does he spend planning how he's going to take on his next hustle? RJ's always out there trying to find something new and something new to innovate with. How much time do you spend a day planning that out?
Honestly, like I think when I don't know, I just start brainstorming, man, and I think it's just I'll test it, and if it works, it works. It doesn't, it doesn't.
Like you're selling books now, aren't you?
Yeah.
What's the deal with that? Like, come on, share.
Okay. Well, I actually getting overwhelmed a little bit the last couple of weeks. Trying to juggle going to the gym and just figuring out like with the sales coming in through Etsy and stuff like that. I actually have a person that's going to start doing journals full time, and I have a person that's going to be uploading them. So she's actually logged into my CreateSpace account right now, and she's uploading about 10 books or journals, and we're just gonna kind of make about 400 to 500 journals a month, and she's going to be uploading full time. And right now it's at $54 in profit. I don't expect it to be in the profit. Like, well, it's not profit because it's going straight to them. I don't consider it to be in profit yet for probably another 3 or 4 months. And I'm just thinking more of long term. And I think a year from now, it's going to be doing crazy numbers. That's what I think. Because I probably have about 50, 60 books, and most of them are already making sales. So if you kind of do like the sales ratio and you do the math, it's like, wow, that's a big difference. Like, you know what I mean? Like most kind of seems like every 3 books that are uploaded, one of them is going to make a sale. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So do you spend most of your time during the day, you know, looking over the numbers, looking over what's going on with each platform, like how you want to allocate your time, because you have a team of VAs, right?
Yeah. Most of my I've been kind of what it can say about fattening your niches or niches. I think I kind of been paying attention to that more, and I kind of understanding it a little bit more, and I kind of took a step back instead of throwing 1,000 designs up at a time, because I can do that. But if I can actually have like really good, like creative designs and very unique designs that just pop, I'll make more sales. Like I already have reviews on my Halloween shirts, and just because I actually took the time to actually put more work into it and have my designers put more work into it, and it seems like they're making sales, and it seems like the customer wants to come back and leave a review on that shirt because it's a very unique shirt compared to like just like a text-based shirt. But you know what I mean? There's 2 different opinions to that. But from my point of view, I think just because it's a very unique design and it's like very different, it's like the customer came back and left a review, in my point of view. So
already, or from previous?
Already. I uploaded about 2 months ago. It's been making sales ever since then, but it's just like a very unique design. It's different. It's like, yeah.
Very cool. So you're kind of focusing on more like quality of design? Because I think recently you're now working with an illustrator and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I'm working with a few illustrators now, and then I have my main designer. But his design work with the text-based stuff, like he's using like little illustrations from here, like from different websites and stuff. He actually has like a few shirts that are making sales for me too. And it's pretty cool because I'm like, all right, just do what you think is right. Do what you think is right. Come up with your own ideas. Make sure they're not trademarked and nothing like that. So he's pretty good at looking that up too now. And he just kind of just like freestyling, and everything's coming together, and he's happy. He actually likes working with me because I'm just like a team player. And I think that's very important too as well with your designer, because he can get a job anywhere else. He knows he can, but he just likes working with me. So that's pretty cool.
Well, I think that's one of the things that is really amazing about merch, that like you're doing it and you're working on building a team, and you have other things that you're able to do as well. And then, Ken, obviously he's doing this himself. He's uploading. Yeah, he's working with his family as well as, and I believe that he might have, connections, obviously, if he needs something, if he wants to do something a little bit more along the lines with illustration. But basically you're running the show, right, Ken?
Yeah, pretty much. That's how I enjoy it.
Yeah. And I think that's just awesome that, and I think people, if they can take anything away from that, like I said, we have right now, there's 4 different people within the mix, but everybody does the business totally different. And so I'm going to actually, let's see. All right. Oh, how does this work? All right. I'm taking RJ off for a minute here. I actually want to pop.
Yay! They kicked RJ.
But I'm bringing your friend back, Ken, here, because obviously one major thing one major thing we do need to know about with Neil, and I think one of the biggest components that goes along with merch is Neil actually has probably hands down the best undisputed pool suite, whatever you want to call it. You could tell me what it is for merch ever, and it's not going to stop just because you just keep bringing more and more stuff, right?
We try. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes.
Oh, what?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
He's like, keep talking about me. Go ahead. No. So it is Merch Informer. I cannot even list all the things. Amy, what what are some of your favorite things with Merch Informer? Like, and Neil's gonna have to fill in the gaps because the amount of tools that you have in that thing is ridiculous. pretty much. It's funny because I'll be like in Facebook or something, and all of a sudden I feel like Neil's announced this everywhere. I'm like, Merch Informer's dropping something new. I'm like, what is it? Monday? Okay, once a week I feel like there's something major that you guys are bringing to the table. So highlight some of the newest things that you guys are doing, and then maybe if you want to share some things that you might be rolling out down the future.
So the latest thing we did was we added the UK and DE to the Merch Hunter, which is a recreation of like the merch database. Previous to that, we released our trademark plugin, which not everyone is using. So download it. It's free. We've been optimizing that a little bit. It's a little bit faster. But what that's going to do is it's going to actually, when you click it, I don't know if you guys have used it, but it puts a little thing inside of your merch dashboard right before you submit your shirts. And you click it, and it's going to look through, sentence by sentence. Hey, do you have any phrases in here that are actually trademarked in the clothing category? So you can click. It turns your bullet points into clickable links, which you can then go over to the USPTO and make sure you're not infringing, or someone has trademarked something ridiculous. In which point you go and put it in the Merch Watchdogs group, and Ken will go take care of them. But we do have one more thing that we're working on. I don't know when it's going to be released. But it's another research tool that's not going to be inside a Merch Informer, but it's going to be very helpful, I hope.
I'm sure it will.
Yeah, yes, for merch, yes.
Awesome.
We'll see.
Right.
I don't want to say too much about it because it's not finished yet, and anything with software, you think it's going to take this long, but it takes 4 more weeks. So we'll see.
Yeah. So let's do this. Ken, if you could ask Neil anything. I know this is good. What would you ask him?
What would I ask him?
Yeah.
When's he going to cut his hair?
I don't know, man. Maybe soon.
What will it cost to go for Kids for Cancer?
I don't know. You go talk to Topping.
Here's the problem with asking Neil a question. You have to understand how much me and Neil talk.
A lot.
I know, that's why I'm asking you to ask him a question so that we can all get the answer.
There's so many that have been asked. But
not necessarily a question for you, but a question for him to tell us the answer to.
For him to tell you.
Yeah, so you might already know the answer, but what's a good thing to ask Neil that he needs to share with us?
I would like to get into Neil's head, and I've said this before, just how he analytically puts things together and how he does research. One day I'm just going to go over to Def Live to Denver. I'm going to sit in a chair, in his lawn chair, behind the chair that I got him. And
I still have that. I meant to take it to a range.
Very analytical is what I found my relationship dealing with Neil. He's very numbers orientated. And I think there's a certain perspective I've gained from him on that if there's anything he could teach us is how he pulls that apart and how he looks at the numbers. How he's better at separating the emotion from the business than I am. Neil will pull the emotion away right away. I will tend to dive into it because I'm having fun. Neil's looking at the dollars, I think, more.
Yeah.
But I do think, I think that's, is that right, Neil?
Yeah, dude, I think that's what I'm going to talk about in Seattle, what we were talking about this morning.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what I'm going to put together, something along the lines of what you just said.
Yeah, I think that's beneficial, and people need to learn that. They need to adapt it to their business, and they need to, with merch, with anything. Being able to look at the numbers, being realistic with numbers, and not just pulling things out of the air. I know that if I get an answer from Neil, he hasn't just made something up. He's actually got something to back it up, which is a very valuable trait when you're dealing with something or with a business. Well,
and I actually think that it's probably pretty natural, like you said, that Neil's more about the numbers. Obviously, he has, Merge Informer, the research tool. And when he's actually, creating stuff, I mean, like you said, he's outsourcing the design. So, with you're doing most of the designs or most of the creative or whatever. So I think that makes sense that you'd be a little bit more attached to it and you have more fun with it. And I think, that's actually what I had found as well. I like designing more. I like, coming up with that creative aspect more. So it probably is a little bit more of an emotional attachment instead of just, data analytics and that type of thing. But I think that obviously everything's in the data, like Neil said, the testing and figuring that out. And so
what the hard part is though, is you're both talking about being attached, like kind of attached. I think the hardest part in what I do is finding, VAs or outsourcers or people who are actually willing to be attached, willing to care about that side, their work. Because if they don't care about their work, if that's ultimately what I'm going to be putting up on the internet, it's no good. So sorting through those people is probably the hardest aspect because you do have to care. You have to be willing to separate yourself from, being emotional when it comes to making business decisions, but you also have to care about what you're putting out there.
Right. And so, like I said, so you do have a team because you outsource a lot. So within, I guess, mainly just like merch, because a lot of it probably overlaps, but how many people do you have on your team, Neil?
About six people. Here's the thing, that's changing all the time because I'll hire people and if they don't care or if they don't answer me or if they're late, I fire them immediately. Like I don't have time for these people to give me excuse after excuse about how 15 of their family members died. I think that's an ongoing thing is my VAs will literally tell me that their family member died and it'll happen again and again. I'm like, how many family members do you have? Like, I just don't have time for that.
And hence the tag that Neil is selfish.
Yeah, well, you can say all you want, but I'm if you have an employee, like if you run a brick and mortar business and you have an employee that's not performing and all you're doing is paying them and you're getting no output, like you're wasting your time and they're wasting their time. So
yeah.
I try to.
Well, I did have a I don't know what, I believe it was Matt and RJ's show, Real Talk, and it was, somebody had just said, hire fast, fire fast, and I was like, that's it. I went and I fired my designer. I was like, I've known it. I mean, the guy was good. I even checked in with him when they were getting the tsunami. I'm so bad. When they were getting the really bad weather over there recently. And
typhoon, I think is what it's called.
It was a typhoon. It was a water thing, whatever. And so I did check in, and he was all thankful and everything because it was great guy, worked well. He just didn't click, when I would give him, and I believe too, this could have been something. I do take a lot of responsibility, and I actually kept him on a lot longer. I don't necessarily even think it was him. It was probably me. I'm not all of that great yet, and I'm really working on figuring out how to manage people, and I try to take as much responsibility on that as I can, or maybe I don't communicate as well. Initially I thought maybe I was a little bit too picky because obviously I can do some design, but it just wasn't working.
Well, what I found is that in the very beginning you do kind of have to give a lot of direction just because you kind of want to mold them into the VA that you want. I mean, the first hire I got to after I had gone through a few people is from the Philippines, and he's still working for me, 3 years later? So I've had this guy, and it's gotten to the point where I will just send him, a list of stuff that needs to be done. And I don't even give him a due date. I pay him after he delivers. So I have zero risk up front. If I need anything fixed, I just shoot it to him. And I don't have to worry that it's not going to come. Like, it will come when he gets it done.
Yeah. Yeah, my thing was, and I did work with it for a while and try to change a little bit of style stuff, try to change a little bit of the colors. The colors were like the worst. And so I continued to, and sometimes he'd come through and it was like, oh, he'd get a couple of fantastic designs. And I'm like, yes, he nailed it. He's getting it. And then the 70% of the rest, I was like, oh my gosh, this is just not good. So like I said, I committed because he was a great, great employee. I committed to, I think it was about 2.5 months, and I was going to do a full, 90 days just because I really, really wanted to see if it was, I'd be able to work with them and get it going. But anyways, now I'm just back to potentially using an Illustrator here and there, and I'm actually having a lot more fun that way. But I don't think it's
you have one
that scalable. An Illustrator?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, not full time, but I have somebody that I've worked with, and
what do you pay them per design, if you don't mind me asking?
$3 USD
for an Illustrator.
Yeah, no, $5. He does $5 for his illustrations. So he does $5 for his illustrations, and they're good. They're really good. He does, yeah. He illustrates, but it's just I'm just having them do characters. He's not doing full shirts because then.
So you're like reusing the characters then?
Yeah.
Okay,
but he does a good job. Like I was able to. It was one of the things that I was excited about. I was actually able to have him do some characters or different things, and then it got to the point to where he now layers it properly. So when I want to go and edit and do different things, I can change it quickly. And the other thing that I can do is if I have an idea of a character and I want to make variations, I tell him up front so that when he's working with it, because he's actually drawing it out, then he can have in his mind how he's going to quickly change this character, you know, and make it do other things. We want to talk about dabbing or whatever, you know, if he's going to do one that's just smiling and standing there and for one reason. So then it doesn't take him as long to do those. We can have, you know, a bunch of different things with that character. But yeah, so yeah, that guy's a good. Unfortunately, he's not super consistent either. He's pretty sporadic, but he's a good guy as well. And obviously, he has to have full-time work. We tried to do, you know, full-time stuff, but I think a lot of times too with illustrators, personally, they don't like to be like working. They don't want to do volume. They don't want to like work on a time limit. So I just kind of let him go because he needs to have. Sometimes he gets stumped and he needs, you know, time to let his creativity work. But I don't know. Do you have an illustrator?
Yeah. So I usually pay people $4 a design, which I get a lot of flack from. So I recently decided I was going to try to start an actual brand just to see, you know, how that goes. So I hired an illustrator, a very, very good one. Ken's seen a lot of his work. $15 a design, and he does about 40 a month. So it's a bit expensive. We're going to see if that actually pans out. I'm running AMS ads to that brand. So we're going to see if that actually turns into a positive ROI or I completely lose a bunch of money. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, you're testing it, so then we can bring it back on and you can let us know. But I wanted to ask because I know, so now since we're on the topic of illustrators, I'm going to hop open and hopefully that we can see. There we go. I have Sir Matt Sharon on here, and we have your little buddy in the background. But I wanted to ask you because I know that you guys actually just put out some awesome illustrations. Is there a dog fighting in the background over there?
No, I'm outside and there's like an annoying dog next to us that won't shut the fuck up. So it's like a chihuahua and it just won't stop.
Well, I
don't care. They should know.
Well, okay, so you guys just put out some awesome illustrations, I have to say, and that was one of the things I was like, wow, I'm like, my illustrator needs to step it up now. So it was an awesome bundle pack. I don't even know if it is still available or not, but you guys had some really cool Halloween things. And tell me a little bit about that, how you decided to come to offer that, and what, I think, like you said, it was limited. Right? You could actually...
Yeah, we only offered it for a couple of days. It was... honestly, it was just kind of like a random idea I came up with one day. Like we were already working on this stuff, and it was coming out really well. So I was like, well, like let's see what happens, see what kind of interest there is. I think we might do something for Christmas. I don't know. It's just I was just like testing it basically to see how it would work out. So there was a lot of interest. However, it didn't necessarily convert as well as I would have liked to. So I think that one of the things, since we put out that newsletter every week, is one of the things I want to do is a case study with basically like really well illustrated designs and show what kind of a difference that can make in your business versus just standard stock clip art drawings.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's one of the things I want to touch on too, because you guys, you and RJ put out a really awesome newsletter that is for free. I mean, I just don't understand how you guys have time for all of it. And you're probably like, I don't have time for all of this. I know that same thing, you know, with Neil having his blog and everything, and the quality of content that you guys share and for free is just insane. So, I mean, thank you guys, number one, and hopefully everybody in the community, you know, feels that same way. And if not, I mean, sometimes they spout off, which is just, I just don't understand because they just get so much given to them seriously. But so why did you decide to take on this commitment? And are you, I mean, how's it going? I mean, does it seem like it's kind of a lot of work, or are you enjoying it? Because
it's a lot of work. Yeah, no, I mean, it's a lot of work. I spend quite a few hours on it every single week. Luckily, I'm when I put my mind to it and I can just sit down in front of a computer, like I can put stuff out pretty quickly. And I generally am talking about things that I already know versus like having to do a bunch of research every single week to put it out. It was honestly, like it was just something that we kind of talked about for a long time in terms of putting out a consistent form of content that was not just videos. And because I don't enjoy making videos. I know I have a YouTube channel out there that people seem to appreciate and they seem to like, but videos are a struggle for me. They take a long time for me to do because like I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, and it was easier for me to put stuff down like in a written form and send it out as an email. I can get a little bit more in depth that way, I think. So I enjoy that form.
Very cool. Well, yeah, and that's one of the things too. I do probably one of the number one things real quickly when somebody is interested, and I've said this before, and I've tagged people, and you know, if somebody's just getting involved, because I've had friends that just have hopped on and they're like, okay, they're going to start merch. They're like, you know, if they're coming and asking me any questions, I was like, go watch Merch Elephant YouTube, do it. I mean, and don't ask me any questions until you do that, because I like you've laid such an amazing foundation for people, and it's not just beginner stuff, but you started with stuff that is beginner, and then there's advanced stuff as well. But I think there's so many things that are so important. So I'm glad that you put that in video form so that we can just referencing that instead of it being like, okay, you know, now I'm going to share the info with you. And plus you do it very, very well. So the way that you lay it out is amazing. And so if anybody's on here and is like, okay, I need to know the basics, or I need to figure something out, that is really what I suggest every time. So
thank you, Amanda.
Oh, well, yeah, thanks for putting that out there. And so, all right, now we have intro here. I popped you on here, Mr. Chris Green. I call you, well, the Amazon Godfather. That's what I say, just because, like, all in general. That's what I had said a long time ago. And I know that you've been just involved with all things Amazon for a very long time. And so kind of a front and center for Amazon and connecting, you know, through the community. And a lot of people I have heard over and over and over again that the reason that they're doing merch is because they had heard you speak about it very beginning, and you were just, you know, kind of promoting the new platform, not really knowing exactly, you know, what potentially was or wasn't going to happen with it yet, still recognizing that it was a great opportunity and people should check it out. So, you know, how much of, I mean, there's a lot of things that you do. Same thing. You have a lot of things going on. And in the beginning, I was asking people, is merch your, like, you know, main gig or your side hustle? So instead of me kind of going over that, I guess you can say, so is merch your main deal or your side hustle?
I would say, and thank you for the introduction, and thanks for putting this show together. And man, I'm on here with Matt Sheeran. I mean, I'm humbled. I'm humbled.
Yeah.
I want to make sure
thank you.
I got to bring enough value to make everybody happy on the show tonight. I
think you'll manage somehow.
Well, I would say of all the things that I do, probably the great, not, I don't say majority, like 80%, but if you like sliced it all up, the biggest chunk would be on things that are Merch by Amazon related. And you've probably heard me say, because I've made 100 videos, you know, since the beginning days of merch, which, I mean, the first videos I made are all literally wrong, not just outdated. They're just absolutely wrong in policy and all those things. But I believe, and I've been this Amazon guy for a long time, and it's really that I just enjoy helping people make extra money online. A lot of it is around Amazon. FBA made selling scalable. So that's where that kind of got started. But I definitely see Merch by Amazon, since it is, you know, no inventory, no cost, no returns, anywhere in the world type business. It's going to be the one that the most people find success with. So from a potential customer or potential reach point of view, then yeah, Merch by Amazon would be the number one place that someone in my position would want to spend time. But I do say that, you know, by the start of next year, I would like to kind of step back a little bit and really just be the guy that helps people get started making extra money online, whether that's with merch or selling wholesale or writing books, whatever it is. I find that I've gotten really good at, you know, talking to someone who wants to make extra money online, which is pretty much everybody that I know. And everybody, I mean, that's everybody. Everybody wants to make extra money. And seeing where they're at, where they want to go, what they're good at, like what kind of strengths, talents do they have, maybe where they live in the country is going to be a factor. And then kind of give them some advice to say, look, you know, with what you want to do and your access to capital and your geolocation, whether it's international, I would spend time with either this Amazon platform or working on networking or influencer marketing or anything. And I'm 100% convinced that anybody in the world with a computer and an internet connection can do something of value. That's what it comes down to. If you want to break it down, like what are we talking about? If you can provide value to someone, whether that's making design packs for merch sellers, whether that's doing wholesale research for Amazon sellers, if you can provide that value, you can make money. And all you need is a computer and an internet connection to do that. You can do online research from a computer anywhere in the world. You can make graphic packs from anywhere in the world. You suck at making graphics packs? Hire someone to make you a graphics pack because you got some capital, and then resell that. Pay some. You know how many graphics you could get for $5,000, and you don't think you could sell it to 50 people or for $50 to 100 people and break even, and then everything else is profit. But if you don't have $5,000, that's not your model, right? So I could go on and on and on, and I say I appreciate everybody that's been on the show tonight, and what you guys have done with Girl Boss and all these things is I think we all have that kind of common thread of we want to help people, and we selfishly help ourselves. We selfishly benefit from helping other people, and it's just such a nice business to be in because it's not it's not always like, oh, who's the customer and all that. Like, no, just help people, and you're going to find that good things happen.
Well, and bringing up something, and I think that was absolutely awesome. Thank you for, and you're absolutely right, because again, when I initially that question and asked everybody, is this your main thing? Is this your side hustle? And it was not like, hey, even if this is my main focus, I'm working on other stuff as well. And just because, I think it's because, there's a couple aspects, we talk about like, oh, shiny object syndrome or whatever, but at the same time, there's just such a plethora out there. And I think that once you get in the mix, like you're constantly learning new things and finding out how things like overlap, or like you said, maybe it's not the best fit at the moment. And maybe there was something else that was, a better fit. But I just love, one of the things that I say is that you are, and I don't know the structure, but who is all kind of the ones that are putting on the Seattle conference? So who arranged?
I kind of did it last year, and then Ken, of course, came in and helped me set it all up. And this year, it's been me and Ken, and Neil is working with us, of course, in the background. And I'm not even I know people look up to me sometimes as like, oh, you're such a great conference organizer. Like, I am not. I am not a conference organizer. I get through it, right? Like I can technically organize a conference, but it's definitely not a strength of mine. But I do it because I do feel it's not an obligation, but I do feel that there's just such an opportunity for us to host this event. And I'm glad Ken came back on here because we are going to have secret speakers that work at Amazon, right? Like, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it anymore. Like, we'll probably have 4 different speakers. And it's no one, like, you just can't do that. Like, they just don't come to random conferences. But it's part of it is, I've been in the Amazon kind of ecosystem for so long that I've met so many people from Amazon, from different trips, because I've interacted with Amazon as a seller and as a vendor and as an author and as just a general advocate. I was at that point when I finally met the guys from Merch by Amazon. I already had a great track record with Amazon. They knew who I was. They saw the community we were building. So it does benefit them to kind of come to some of the events, but it has to be done in Seattle. It has to be done during the week, has to be done during the day. So to do that, that's why we're downtown Seattle, is we'll have some of these secret speakers. And yeah, I'm grateful for Ken for helping out with it. It's going to be the most amazing event like anyone's ever seen. The lineup of speakers and talent that we have there is unmatched. I already worry about next year because I can't imagine we can anywhere close to topping it.
That's what I was going to say. If it's not for anything else, you want to talk about conference organizing. I mean, I think that, you know, a lot of the other stuff can shake or work itself out, but getting, you know, the speakers to come in and who you're getting. I mean, the lineup is insane, regardless of, I think that the secret speakers, I think that's fantastic, but the lineup is just crazy. So the people that you guys have chose to have up there, I am just amped to sit there. Like, I just can't wait just to soak it all in. So thanks for that. Thanks for, you know, being able to get them to come out there. And I mean, because obviously everybody that's doing that is really busy as well, but it is just going to be, we want to talk about all-star lineup. It's going to be insane.
Yeah, and there was a thread in the ClickFunnels Facebook group today that it just kind of reminded me of it, where someone was saying, how do you, I guess he was doing a podcast or a blog or something. You wanted to get like some kind of like some high tier, like some celebrity, like, you know, like, how do I get, you know, so-and-so to come on my podcast? And people were giving them real advice of saying, look, you know, if you're just starting out and you don't have any clout or reputation, it's going to be really hard. Like if you don't have any subscribers on your YouTube channel and you go to a Gary Vaynerchuk or a Tony Robbins and say, hey, can I interview? The answer is going to be no. But there's a lot in between, like the top tier and everyone else, but you still have to get their attention. And I'll tell you guys, this is an absolute, it's a little bit of a hack, I guess. And I'll tell you two ways that I do this. I do feel that I can get a lot of people's attention because I've got so much experience with Amazon. So I have a lot to offer depending on what they're doing. But I use two things specifically. I use my Facebook page, facebook.com/Chris. I use that in my email. I use it in Messenger. And it just, the people are like, wait, that's you. That's this guy, right? It gets their attention, right? Which is the hardest part. The game is attention. If you can get their attention, then you have some value to offer. Then great. But even if you have value, but you can't get their attention, it doesn't matter. So as silly as it sounds, I use a great vanity page name on Facebook to get people's attention. And the other one, which you guys will all be able to identify with this, the size of my Facebook group, the big group, right? What it's called. It's got 68,000 members in it. I can literally go to anybody on Facebook who's an influencer. I went to there's a recent lawyer that I got connected with. And she had a great post, and I shared it in the big group, and I said, hey, I just shared this in my 68,000 member Facebook group. I didn't just say shared in my group. I'm very specific. I shared this in my 68,000 member Facebook group, and that makes her like, whoa, that's cool. I want to talk to this guy, right? And that only works. That's only an attention hack, right? That's only one part. You actually have to have something to say afterwards, which I'm thankful and confident that I do. But if someone doesn't, then the attention hack isn't going to work. So the first thing people always need to do is have something of actual value to offer. Think of the other person. What if we got together and worked on something? How would it benefit them? And if you have somewhere you can say with a straight face, oh, okay, so they're going to get 51% of this relationship. I'm going to get 49% for free. Then yeah, I'm going to try and get this person's attention. And you're going to find that it's easier than you think. But if you don't have a great vanity website, Facebook page, something to get their attention, or a big group, well, get started. Start making a group, right? Like, you can do that. It doesn't just happen overnight. I've literally been in the Amazon ecosystem for over a decade. It sounds crazy even to me to say that. But these are real hacks. This is exactly how it works. I'm not special that I can get people's attention. I'll tell you guys exactly how I do it. I'll tell you here on this video. And if people want to come out to Seattle and ask me in person, hey, I'll tell you the same thing. Because there's no secret stories. It's all the exact advice that we give here on this show, that we see in all the groups, that we see in all the YouTube videos. It's all the truth. People just have to take it and apply it. And if you want to hear it from me, you want to hear it from Ken, you want to hear it from RJ, whoever you need to hear it from, figure out what you need to hear and who you need to hear it from, and go hear it so you can take action. Because just listening to all of us isn't going to do anything for you.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's one of the things too, you know, when we've talked to a lot of the people we've had on here, RJ's peacing out. Good night. But we've had a lot of people on here, and when we talk with them, you know, we're looking at like the history, and regardless of, obviously Amazon merch is new, but people have been involved and working at this craft of whatever for quite some time. And like you said, it's been, you know, over a decade, and Ken's in the sign business, and some of those skills have overlapped, not just the sign business aspect, the graphic part of it, the licensing part of it, the, you know, working, you know, for himself, entrepreneur part of it. All of that stuff leads into it. Same thing with Neil. You know, Neil didn't want to have a job, he said, when he was, you know, out of college. So he has done a lot of other things that have also poured into this. So I think that is something that is super key for people, regardless of, like you said, what they're going to be getting into. But yeah, realizing that this is going to be a journey. So buckle up and just keep plowing away at it, pretty much.
I think people have to understand, one other thing I would add to what Chris has said, and Chris, I've learned a lot from Chris on this. The other thing I've always thought in my process is putting yourself at the right place at the right time. And half the time you put yourself in that place, you don't get the result you want, and you just have to accept that as part of the game. But there's that 1 time out of 10 that you hit a home run, and that's what it's worth. And if you're in merch, the greatest thing I think about something like this conference is you're putting yourself in the right place at the right time to be in contact with other people. It doesn't need to be Chris or me or Michael Essick or somebody at merch or something like that, but it might be 3 people in the row next to you that all of a sudden now can look at your designs because you've gotten to know them, you've gotten to trust them. Maybe you find an illustrator, maybe you find somebody that's really good at AMS ads, maybe you find that one person in the room that's good at your one problem, but it's not going to be there if you don't put yourself in the right place. And being at that place is even better because there are some great opportunities. And I'll track a lot of what I've learned with merch and the connections I have back to connections I made with Chris, back to a handshake, back to, simple things, just reaching out and doing something that's a little different. And Seattle, finding opportunities and taking those opportunities. And as he said, providing value to those people, because if you provide value to them, all of a sudden the value comes back tenfold. And that's just the way business works. That's how life works. So
I shared the video from last year, the Ken story. It's a free video. It's in the group. And I think, it's important. I give more, a lot of what's happening today goes back to Ken reaching out. And, that was a couple years ago now.
Well, we'll find that too. And so if anybody is looking for that, we'll find that. And we'll throw the link in this thread so everybody pop back on that. But, all right, guys, we are, and Neil, don't leave either, because we are going to kind of wrap this up. He's on there, but I want to do kind of like a closing questions here. Sorry, obviously, and there's been a lot of other talking as well. Amy, do you have any burning questions on here that? Kind of like. She's like, I had to take on last week. She's like, I'm out. She's like, I'm not. All right, well, I'm going to throw. Wait, wait. Just hang on. She popped off. See Chris pop off. Are you there, Amy? What did you say? You're the ghost or something? I think Chris put his finger over his camera or something because I'm not seeing him on there. But all right, I'm going to pop Neil up on here real quick. So, here we go. All right, so I'm not sure if Chris is there or not, but I see a black screen, so I'm just gonna actually talk to you guys.
I see him.
I see him.
Being weird.
You can really see him? Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, then hopefully
you can drop me off if it's not working.
Hey, Chris, talk. Can I hear you?
Am I
here?
You
guys hear him?
Yeah, I hear him.
I
had the same problem, I had the same problem earlier with Young. I just had to refresh the screen.
I'm scared to refresh it because I'm not refreshing.
Yeah, don't refresh it. Kick
so I will jack it all up.
Tina, Neil, you don't need me.
Let me see if I'm going to kick him out and bring him back in. Maybe that'll help. Still not. He's still blacked out to me. Well, that stinks. All right. Well, unfortunately, so let's do this. All right. I'll get to Chris last, and then I'll just smile and nod like I know what he's saying. But all right. So Neil, so what would you say do you think would be the number one reason for, I think because he's going to hop back on, that's good. The number one reason for people to either get out to Seattle or make it a point to get out to, whatever event they can, because obviously we've talked about events before, and I know you've been to events because I got to meet you at some before. So what's the biggest thing for you, your motivator for going to events?
Just talking to people in person, which I was completely against up until 2 years ago. So, but the first conference I went to was Rocky Mountain Reseller, where I met you. But Chris was like, "Dude, you live 30 minutes away. You have to show up." And this was last year. I'm like, I don't know if I want to. I showed up.
Why were you against it? Because I know there's other people that are, I've seen them in the groups, and there's somebody that's coming that was like, I'm so skeptical, I don't think I'm going to go. And he lives in Seattle, by the way. And I'm like, no, he's coming. So we'll have
I'm an introvert for the most part. I mean, Ken will make fun of me all day. I leave the house like maybe once or twice, go to the gym, and come back home and work. But the opportunity of meeting people, like Ken was saying, you might meet the 3 people next to you, and you can actually build that relationship where you can show them your designs. I mean, I've made so much extra money just from the people that I've met at these conferences that I didn't know previously. I had no idea they would be there, but just because I showed up, I got to talk to them, which ended up with us doing business together, or I could shoot ideas to them. And they'd be like, maybe you should try this. And then I did, and maybe it worked. So just the opportunity of getting lucky or networking.
Yeah. Okay, Ken, I think that we're going to have that, but it's going to be you wrapping it up with that. So what would you say about that?
What would I say about attending the conference, whether or not you should, or conferences, or doing these types of things?
Yeah.
I mean, I see a lot of talk about people wanting to expand their business, or wanting to have success, and wanting to 10x something, or wanting to 100x something. And unless you start putting yourself in front of other people like this and learning from them, it's not going to happen. I mean, people get success over the internet, but you still need some interaction. I mean, I'll tell you right now, Amanda, I mean, I learned more from sitting and chatting with you for an hour at the licensing show than I'd ever have learned over 6 months or 12 months on the internet. I mean, and that goes so far. I mean, being able to grab somebody you've seen or maybe looked up to or wanted to ask a question, and all of a sudden you can sit across the table from them at lunch. I mean, that's just that's irreplaceable. And as Neil said, I've made money on merch through designs, through listings, through keywords, through all kinds of things. Beta programs, dealing with merch, dealing with people, all because I stopped being an introvert and went out to some of these things. And the biggest one was just, I don't hide it. Me and Chris used to fight. I think he played with me like a cat and I was the mouse, but I was one of these probably pessimistic naysayers against Chris. And one day I just said, you know what, let's just send him a message, see what he's all about. And that's changed everything for me in merch. It's changed a lot for him. It's changed things with Neil. It's changed things with a lot of people in the community, to the point that we had a Seattle conference last year. We're having one this year. Just some great things. And it's nothing about me or people that are holding the conference or the people that are up there. It's the ability to get together at the right place at the right time. And if you go in with the right perspective, you're going to do a lot for your business and a lot for yourself.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And it's interesting because John and I have been in the internet space for a long time, even full time, but it was very recent. It wasn't until literally last year that we started going to events. And I truly believe, it wasn't because it wasn't as prominent a while back. And I think that we probably could have started a couple years prior. But now there's a lot more, and it's just been a whirlwind of being able to connect with so many different people, like you said. And I think one of the biggest things, especially for somebody that's just starting out, being like, oh my gosh, should I go or whatever? I mean, absolutely. The answer is totally yes. I think the biggest thing is belief. I think that that's one of the common denominators of when, you hear of somebody that has, had relatively significant success within the merch community, and there was something that triggered that belief, whether it was something that they had, before, again, the skills that they brought with them, but they had that belief. And if you don't have that, sitting and talking to somebody and hearing somebody's story and hearing some of the struggles that they went through, realizing that they're a real person, realizing that they're probably not that much different than you, they're just more stubborn and persistent and consistent. And I think that gives people a lot of encouragement, and I think that can change somebody's path hands down. I mean, you put yourself in that room with everybody and you listen to those speakers and you connect and you go introduce yourself. You're not walking out of that conference the same person. There's not a chance.
Well, the neat thing too is that if you're there, you can really walk up to a person and say, how'd you do that? Like, go grab a Michael Essick or go grab Neil and during the break or during dinner or at night. I mean, you got what, 2 nights to go out and hang with people. Just say, how did you do that? And you know what's neat is the person's going to tell you. But if you're on the internet and you send a Facebook message and say, how'd you do this? Do you see what the difference is there? The impersonality is a big stumbling block, and it takes you jump over so many walls by putting yourself in front of the person and saying, hey, I love your story. Tell me how you did that. How could I apply it to my business? And I see some questions about new people saying, hey, I'm just new to merch, or I don't even know how to design. I don't know what this is about. I had a good friend of mine that was very new into merch. I had a sister-in-law that went that was very new into merch. I had friends that went to the conference last year, and they walked away saying, oh wow, look at the book full of ideas I have. And they walk out, even though you're brand new, you have a dozen different ideas that you can walk into instead of saying, well, putting up a question on a Facebook group saying, how do I do this? I'm new. How do I get out of tier 10? Well, all of a sudden they're walking out with actual real ways to do this and probably real world experience because they've asked somebody, how do I do this? And almost overload, I would say. You're going to walk out with overload as a new person in a good way, and you're going to walk out with networking that you could never buy off of the Facebook groups.
Well, that's the best part. Like last year, it's not just merch by Amazon. There was Shopify, people who do YouTube full time, people who are illustrators that I can now reach out to and say, what do you think about this? Is this crappy? Like people that make a full-time income outside of merch, which gives you all of these ideas of how you can use merch in that business or use that business with yours.
Oh, and I think we upped the ante through the roof on some of the areas there. Not everybody's speaking about merch. I mean, there's going to be a Facebook expert group. I mean, how to build a group on Facebook. We're going to bring in an expert on that, and they're going to talk about it. Shopify, YouTube, the sales page, maybe with Amazon, things like that. Keywording. I mean, all these things. We got Etsy. I mean, everybody's raving about J&D and Etsy, and I've had a great relationship with Jay. I'll take credit. I brought him into the merch community. He didn't know what merch was before he met Ken Rail, and now he's kind of well known for Etsy, right? Well, do people know that his business partner, who I don't think we see enough of in the groups, D, is going to be presenting about Etsy? I mean, they're going to be talking about the real world things that happen with Etsy. I mean, that's great. There's another way to expand what's going on. Things like Watchdogs. I mean, Dave Kadoff's going to go up there and stand on stage and say, somebody give me an example of a trademark application that we should look at. And he's going to walk you through a complete letter of protest from start to finish. I mean, these are not things that are just merch, but these are things that affect your business. And we're going to have people that, I don't know that you call them pros or experts, but know a lot more than even I do about it, or maybe Neil knows. I mean, every one of us is going to learn something that we can apply to our business, let alone the connections you're going to make.
And you're going to come back next year and you're going to have made money from it. Because when I went to the first conference that Chris dragged me to, I met a guy there who talked to me about CreateSpace. That's like when I first jumped on CreateSpace. And like a year later, the funny thing is I ran into that same guy during this Seattle conference last year. But I was already making like hundreds of dollars a month because of what he had told me that I implemented on CreateSpace. So it's a good opportunity. Yeah,
I mean, to say the least. Yeah, I mean, if there's any way that you can make it, absolutely get there. I think even like it's at every level that somebody, Ken expects to go there, Neil expects to go there, and they're going to learn something that they're going to be able to apply and capitalize on, within their businesses. And if you are just beginning, your learning curve is going to get slashed. I mean, and that's exactly what this is, but you are going to, whether it's because you're going to be able to ask those specific questions, to the people that you meet, or you're going to have that constant contact to where there'll be like maybe a little bit of a mentoring, to where you're going to be able to ask those direct questions, even when you leave the conference. So, and if you by chance cannot get there, I don't even know. I mean, there's not that many people that can go. There's still space available for people to go, Ken.
Oh, yeah, there is some space. I mean, we've got a pretty good room already. Last year, we didn't actually sell the place out. That wasn't our intent. I think we limited it to 100 tickets because, we didn't want to go. Right now, we do have the full 150. There are some spaces there. We've gone through a few things. We've extended it to 3 days because we kind of had a wing dinger come in here. I posted a link there to Bert Ullman. I mean, this blows us away. This is the keynote. This is the keynote speaker for the conference, and this guy is going to be talking branding on Saturday. If I understand right, his team's going to come in and do a bit of a special session. This is the kind of guy he deals with Adam Levine and Jennifer Lopez. I mean, Nicki Minaj. I mean, this guy is into the big brands, and a lot of us, even Neil, is starting to work on brands. But this is dynamite. This is in the world of branding. This is like all of a sudden you got Gary Vee showing up at your conference, and he's going to address you for an hour and a half and tell you what's going on. These are things that we really haven't pushed, but if people look at the content that is there, it's absolutely mind blowing. I'm just excited to go and shake this guy's hand and listen to him for an hour and a half and start delving into those things. And so if you can get there, hands down, it's going to benefit your business. I know very few people that would say that they went last year and didn't found something that paid for the cost of what they went and what they learned and how they built. And we got a lot of repeat people coming. So
yeah. Well, that's one of the things that I have to say, because again, this past year we've invested, and that's how I look at it. It is an investment, and it's an investment that I always say, like, I'm not going to lose on my investment, and I'm not gonna. I would almost like clicked it on there just, but I'm not going to highlight somebody that I just said it's too expensive. Which to me, I've been to conferences and things that I've spent a heck of a lot more on to go. But I think one of the things that you have to realize is when you're looking to go into this, number one, it's an investment in yourself, and you determine whether or not you're going to get paid back on that or not. So like we just talked about, whether it's going there and it's the networking that you're going to make. I mean, I'm not going to lose. I'm going to come and I'm going to make, it's going to be more than 10x from the value that I get from this. And there's going to be residuals, and it just has to be that different mindset. And if you're not there yet, then okay, but figure out how to get there. Because if you really want to be in any online space to where you're going to be potentially, collaborating or wanting to take yourself to that next level, you need to get into, the positions. I always say, put myself in a position to where I'm uncomfortable. Like, you need to be okay with being uncomfortable, because there's far too long, there was spaces where, we were just kind of at the top of our game within the people that we were like hanging out with. And then we started realizing, we started going into other positions. I love walking into a room and knowing that I'm kind of, there learning from all of these top people, and it might make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, and that's exactly where you need to be at. So, yeah, you definitely need to invest in yourself and just make sure that you're going to be able to pay yourself dividends on that and just make it happen.
And I will say there's probably 100 other places that we may want to hold the conference that would be cheaper, that might be more convenient to get people together. But there's a reason that we hold it in downtown Seattle. It's not cheap. I mean, the Hyatt is through the roof. It's a beautiful room, but yeah, it's expensive. But the whole reason we hold it there is for an obvious reason. I mean, is to have the opportunity to have some of the merch staff come in and speak to us. And that's just simply how it works. You have to be close to them. So within a couple of blocks of the Amazon headquarters.
You can get creative. And I guess from us, actually attending other events, I'm actually not staying at the Hyatt. I'm going there, and I have a big sorority house Airbnb that we have going on. That's what I'm going to call it. We actually split one into guys and girls. So there's 2 Airbnb houses that there's going to be, some masterminding going on. There's going to be, but it ends up being because of the events that I have went to before, because yes, that hotel is pricey for sure, but we're going to be, that's just something that came out of it. So now we're able to make it happen that way. You get creative. If you really want it, you get creative and make it happen.
Yep.
But, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for hopping on here and hanging on with us until the bitter end. I'm excited for us to be able to meet up in Seattle, and I think that's a wrap here. I don't know, Amy, you got anything else you want to ask? Awesome. All right, guys. Well, again, thanks so much. You guys have a wonderful week, and we will see you in Seattle.
You as well. Have a good one.
Have a great night.